Good afternoon, everybody. This is Mark, and we're back here for the daily recap. It is Tuesday. So we are basically in the thick of earnings at this point in time. It's going to start this week. We had a bunch of financials last week. Certainly, the leadership it has been in the financials. They continue to demonstrate that across the board. Now we're going to get bellwethers, high beta, biotechs, and like. There's a lot of earnings this week. Make sure you're aware of what is coming out. At the close, we just had Google, IBM, Cree. All of them are actually up after hours at this point, at least when I stepped in here. Good earnings for every single one, at least based on the brief headlines that I saw. And that's obviously going to probably make for an up opening. Tomorrow we have Apple. We have a few others. We'll have to wait and see what happens. When I came in, Google was trading around 732, 730-ish. That's going to be right smack in the middle of its range. We'll have to see how it reacts accordingly after that. This gap up. We've been following a pattern, and they've been talking about it on CNBC. I've been talking about it for a few weeks at this point. Every morning we gap up. We seem to sell down the majority of the morning, maybe till 11:30, 12:30, and then we get a bid through this market, and we finish strong, and redo over and over again. That seems to be the MO. Keep using that pattern until it stops happening. Trading is all about pattern recognition. That's the pattern that's happening in the S&Ps. That's the pattern that's happening in the overall market. You got to take advantage of it when it's in front of you. Today, some standouts that I would talk about. I've been talking about the 3D printers, for a while. DDD and SSYS. SSYS didn't close great. DDD closed fine. Not sure it's going to go with that parabolic move that it's ready for that. But it looks so strong, and every pullback is buyable, and it keeps respecting its 8-day moving average, at least for the last few weeks. So if it pulls back to there, that's a buying opportunity. SSYS, not as pretty, but same industry, and still holding the 8-day moving average. So another pullback will be a buying opportunity for all of us to get involved with. Banks, as I said, they are the leadership, and they're showing their gusto, so to speak. Goldman Sachs, another new high. Looks like 150s in the cards. Would I be putting on a new swing here? Absolutely not. It needs to either pull back or base for a number of days before I'm getting back involved, more than just a day trade or a day and a half trade. Risk versus reward, it doesn't make sense, at least right here, but the momentum is still to the upside. Morgan Stanley, same type of trade. Yesterday's earnings, Friday's earnings, and follow through today. Citigroup looked interesting today. I think it's probably going to begin to fill that gap possibly tomorrow after the close. Also, WFC announced a dividend, increasing their dividends, so that's probably going to be an uptick for the banks overall. AIG, another standout that doesn't probably get enough attention, but I think next thing you're going to look, it's at $38. High beta, you got to pick and choose your spots. Apple's not going to really do anything until tomorrow. Google obviously is now going to be back in play. Amazon seems like it's waiting to earnings. Baidu and Sina I actually got involved with today, both of them. They look okay to me. Baidu I think had some negative news, but it held its bid pretty well by the end of the day, recovered. This is the level this is roughly the level I do buy it at, and I'm getting involved. We'll see what happens, but I think the next stop is 114, 115, which is a 200-day. We'll see if that's resistance or if it actually shoots through there accordingly. Sina, a little bit more of a defined chart. You have the 8 and 200, crossing to the upside. That should get to the $60 range sooner than later if we can maintain the bid to this market. We're also rotating. We've been rotating continuously now, regardless that banks are leading. Today you had a decent move, follow-through move in CF, AGU, out of the Ags. We also have the OAHs, which I mentioned last week, 2-3 days up. Schlumberger helped with that nice, multi-month, almost multi-month high. There's a bid to this market. It keeps happening. I'd love to see a pullback. Is a shake the tree going to happen? I'm sure at some point, but at the same time, you got to respect the fact that there's a bid to this market, and that's how you have to trade accordingly. Other standouts, I would say, RIM. Everybody loves to short this thing, but again, we've been talking about this now probably since 8, and certainly back at the 1150 level, 1180, with the 2-day big gap up. it keeps going higher. It closed higher. It's probably going to gap up again. It's definitely catching some people. Understandably, though, it's getting a little bit farther away from the 8-day than I would like. So it's going to do one of two things: come back in, or rest up there and let the key moving averages play catch up. Not sure what we're going to see. We'll obviously know a little bit more tomorrow. But again, trend continues to be your friend. If you're not doing that, you're probably doing the wrong thing. And I keep saying that over and over again. Retailers remained relatively strong today. They've been lagging, though, overall. Leadership is hard to spot. You could say Coors, you could say Nike, but not a whole lot of intraday movement for us to really get involved with. Certainly you have to keep on the radar. I still think Lulu, I still think Under Armour, even though chart-wise they're not as pretty, still is best in breed. GPS, possibly. But from that point of view, you got to look at it. And also the solars remain strong today. It's funny. I got out of my soul. I have no problem. I respect my stops. Friday I was in a bad mood. I think I hit my stop on FSLR, or I just got angry at it. And today it gapped up right around 30.50, 30.80. 30 has been my stop, and it moved a nice, my point and a half. I think it's regained some of its composure, and I think it's ready to resume its uptrend personally. Is it going to do one day? No, but this is how the stock works, especially the fact that it did get me out. I did get back in, but the fact that it did get me out is almost a telltale sign of what normally happens. And I said I wasn't going to miss these, some of these little solars, which I'm really not going to mention too heartedly, but keep them on the radar. TSLs, the JKSs, the YGEs, they look pretty good. Lots of goods consolidation in the charts. It's in a sector that, quite frankly, has been dead for so long. And a few of obviously the FSLR is heavily shorted, so certainly something that needs to be on the radar from that point of view. The bid continues to this market. I don't know what's going to take that bid away, or when the buying is going to stop. Retail slowly starting to get back in. Does that scare me a little bit? Not quite, because I don't think they're in with full force yet. When they get in full force, that's when it's going to scare me, and they're going to do a shake the tree, because that's how the market works. Respect it, and keep trying to really just trade the intraday patterns that are happening, and certainly the little bit more macro patterns. It's telling you to stay long. It's telling you to buy key stocks on pullbacks and key moving averages, and respecting that. You got to be patient. You got to respect your stops, but at the same time, you got to respect what the market's telling you. And right now, the market's telling you to stay long. 1 or 2 more days up here, you're gonna get a little pullback or a rest in the S&Ps. The Qs I actually think have more room, just because they really haven't done anything, i.e. with Apple, Amazon, Google. Tomorrow will be their first day, so they have some room actually. I think till 70, and maybe the S&Ps take a break, and we get some rotation again from the banks, from the oils, maybe from the ags into some of the high beta stocks that, quite frankly, have not been in trade play very much, and have really just been relaxing. We'll have to wait and see, but we'll know a little bit more tomorrow. So again, we had Google, IBM, and Cree as the major earnings tonight. All of them are up in after hours, so we should have an up open. If not too much changes, and we'll talk to you tomorrow. Good luck. Hopefully you had a good day today, and we'll see you tomorrow.
I'm Evan Lazarus, Chief Knowledge Officer for T3Live.com. You don't become a great trader by watching videos and taking courses. You become a great trader through live screen time. Accelerate that learning curve by tapping into the experience of seasoned professionals. Currently, we're offering 5-day free trials to each of our 4 mentoring rooms. In the mentoring rooms, we teach our strategies in the context of the live market. To sign up for a free trial, go to the T3 Live education page, fill out the form, and get started when the next trading session begins. We hope to see you in one of our mentoring rooms.